It is the Matt Mosley show. And it's Overreaction Monday. We are so appreciative to Central National Bank, to Ascension Providence. Scotty Swingler and I spent our time. Jackson Posey joined us, and we had a big time over at the Brazos Landing the other day, another proud sponsor of ours. In fact, we'll be doing a live show over there on Thursday before this K-State game coming up. And Scotty, while you were able to, watch the game, have conversations, a very engaging young man that you are, at some point I got dialed in so hardcore to that game, and there was a lot of disappointing things. There were some encouraging things. I thought one of the most encouraging things of the day was that combo thing you had with the alligator, the catfish, and some shrimp.
Yeah, I had coconut shrimp, catfish, and
Yeah,
gator.
and
Yep.
the gator bites, and then that hush puppy. In fact, at one point I was asking you, Scotty, how those hush puppies were, and the truth is, you had a lot of food on that platter, and so there may have been a moment, even when I was asking you that I had already sampled the hush puppy. One of your hush puppies went missing. Let's put it that way. And then, man, I had something incredible. I had shrimp po' boy. We had some of those corn, almost like a ribs. They call them ribs, corn bite ribs. I mean, it was like I was at the state fair, but it was a higher quality food than the state fair. And a lot of it was fried. And I'm trying to avoid that, but I couldn't avoid it the other day. Also, thank you to Cherry Johnson, Sigmund James. All right. Now, again, we're without our usual 3D or 4K look. We're having to do a little workaround today, but because of some tech stuff, but that's okay. We're going to have a great show. We're going to have fun with it. And if you're wondering, why does Mosley have sunglasses on? Well, I normally do. It's not, but today, I mean, this was a 4 a.m. Went to bed at about 4. Running on fumes a little bit. Had a 6-hour round trip yesterday to College Station to take my mom down there to see my daughter. I had a quick hug with my daughter, and then I raced back to town. And then it was time to dig in on the Cowboys, and we'll let you see some of our Cowboys things. I thought, Scotty, that maybe one of the most exciting ties I've ever been involved in. I hated the first tie I can recall. I think I had some ties that I was involved with in youth soccer as a youngster. I was in high school when Baylor and A&M. I don't think Scotty had joined this world yet. He may have just been coming into the. No, I don't think he had joined us yet, actually, now that I think about it. But this was, Scotty, what year were you born?
So I was born in 1992, Matt.
Yeah, you had not joined us. And this was 1990, and I'm at Kyle Field, and the Bears have a chance to go down and beat the Aggies, and Grant Taft played for the tie. He thought it would help in the conference race somehow, thought that was the way to go, and he literally shut it down at midfield, and the Bears and the Ags tied 20-20. And the late, great J.J. Joe, as a redshirt freshman, he was not happy, but he was doing what he was told. And he was totally capable of leading that team down there to win that game. And the Bears opted for the tie. And the Bear fans were so upset that one particular former, I don't know who he was, now that I think about it, he jumped out of the stands and he tried to fight Grant Taft as Taft made his way off the field. I don't know how he was allowed to get down there. I guess he went over the railing. But that was really, when I think of a tie, I go back to that one. So, Scotty, I mean, it does feel anticlimactic. It was very exciting. Like it was an incredible game to watch. It was Sunday Night Football. So I found myself last night on the Doomsday podcast that I do with Ed Werder and at Rogue Media. It's under our extensive profile of podcast, and we got Please Bear With Me. You never know. Scotty and Ganaway do a great job there. We got tons of properties on that thing, but one is Doomsday. And that's why we found ourselves taping at 1 this morning after the game, after we'd heard from Shoddy, after we'd heard from Dak, and after I had spent 20 minutes with Jerry Jones. Now, Scotty, let's do if we have this queued up, let's do the money quote from Jerry Jones, because this is, and I can't remember, Scotty, I'm sorry. I've sent you about 28 things this morning, but this is the one that I thought that we had all kinds of people, turning around content last night. Thank you, the Z-Man. Zach Burke was up with me from Rogue. He was up late at night. He's the one who comes up with all the links. He gives us the ability to post this stuff at like 2 or 3 in the morning, which is when we put this up, probably about 2:30 in the morning. That's because of the Z-Man. And Zach turned it around, and then he'll turn around this evening and be ready to do another podcast, the Boneyard Podcast, which is a very popular high school podcast that we do. But, Scotty, let's show our folks. I thought this was interesting because this is what Jerry had to say about, it's almost like he thought this was case closed. But this was the moment he talked about, hey, this is why we pay Dak $60 million. And this is why we didn't pay Micah. Scotty, let's play that clip right now, and we'll react to it.
Very simple. Right. Dak was indispensable in my mind. Right. And so, yes. And Micah wasn't.
That's what you love about him. Is he'll just kind of hem-haw around about a bunch of stuff and say a bunch, where's he going with this? And then in that moment, and everybody had kind of moved on, he gave the money quote. He gave us the goods. And Scotty, if you want to go back to that, did you see the young man? Did you see the young man with that flowing hair? See, Scotty, that's why you've got good hair.
Dak
you hide it behind a ball cap. You got to let that freak fly. Yeah. Who is that man behind Jerry looming? That was the representative, your man on the scene, the Rogue Media Network's own Mosley, right there behind Jerry. And we had some interesting back and forth. The only regret I have from last night, and there was one thing, many regrets. No, but Scotty, there's one thing that I wish I had zeroed in on. I made a joke with Jerry at some point, and we may play a little bit of this as the day unfolds, but I made a joke about, couldn't your clock keeper have helped you a little bit? Scotty, that game ended in overtime with Green Bay just like goofing around, not getting up the line of scrimmage. I thought the Cowboys only did that like during the playoffs against San Francisco. They're goofing around. They finally throw it in the end zone, and they end up, to tie the game, they end up with 1 second left. Jeez. Some people thought the Cowboys, by the way, on 4th and goal should have gone for it and actually, tried to put a touchdown on the board at the end of overtime, when they had the ball in overtime. I do not know what Green Bay was doing. So I asked Jerry about that very thing. Like, couldn't you get a little help with your clock man up there, or clock woman? And Jerry kind of smiled, and he's like, well, he started to say that's a relative. And then somebody that acted like they knew, maybe it was Mike Silver, go, well, that's like one of your ex-relatives. Okay, now it's all coming to me. I think that guy was doing a good, quick joke, like he's no longer a relative because he didn't get the clock right. Okay, maybe, because in that moment, I'm like, this is funny. So Jerry was trying to do a joke, then he thought better of it. Now he does a joke later, and we may play it later in the program. I mean, Scotty, I sent it to you. Somebody, and it wasn't me, said, the whole thing about a tie. Jerry, they say a tie is like kissing your sister. Scotty, you've heard it forever. Well, Jerry couldn't help himself.
I've never kissed my sister, so how's it taste?
I wouldn't know you.
Hey.
Oh gosh, Scotty, he crossed the line. Now let's do it. Scotty is so good at this. It is really remarkable, because I probably sent him that clip like literally 2 minutes ago, and he turns it around. It's a phenomenal deal. I don't know. The problem is with this level of production and assistance and co-hostership, hostmanship. I'm just making up words. It makes me want to just ask him to do a million different things. But so it's not good that he turns things around this quickly for him. But man, I love it. All right, let's do it one more time, Scotty, and then look at my reaction to Jerry's weird kissing your sister joke, which honestly, you have to say, Scotty, for as crazy and delusional as he is, he's pretty quick. I mean, he's still quick-witted at 83 or 84, whatever he is. I mean, he's quicker than just about anybody. Let's play that again and then watch the Mosley reaction.
Well, I've never kissed my sister, so how's it taste?
I wouldn't know you.
Hey.
Scotty, it's weird that he would say it, but like, doesn't it display like how quick he is? Like, you have to hand it to him. You're not getting that from really any other NFL owner. Is there anybody out there? Is Mark Davis giving you that? No. Is the guy, is the new Josh Harris, the Commanders, is Jeff Lurie giving you that? Is Robert Kraft giving you that? I mean, Robert may show up at a massage parlor, but he's not giving you, he's not that quick. He's not giving you jokes like that. Scotty, I mean, are you at least somewhat impressed on Jerry's ability to, in the moment, execute jokes like that, especially after an emotional game? I think we have to hand it to him, don't we?
Jerry Jones has always been charismatic, Mosley. He's always been quick and charismatic. I will hand him that. I disagree with his comment about Dak and Micah, but that's probably not a surprise to many people.
Yeah, but the kissing your sister thing, he was, and boy, I mean, speaking of charismatic, there was some talk of charismatic churches and some things going on. We had a longtime preacher man at our table the other day, and I thought that was good. I mean, I was surrounded by people in the ministry. One longtime pastor, Scotty's been in the ministry. Posey's headed to seminary. I forget where he's thinking about going, but I mean, Scotty, if you wondered why I kind of had to, and Scotty came and joined me at some point in the fourth quarter, and we zeroed in on the game, but there was a lot of religious talk that was happening at that table. And I finally had to exit a little bit. I had to go focus on the game because Scotty's better than I am. One thing I can't do, I can't talk about other stuff during a game. And my wife will tell you, it frustrates me to no end. Like when I'm watching games with people, and I've got this one guy I'm thinking about who's a Baylor guy and a singer-songwriter, and we'll be watching a Monday Night Football game, and he gets off into all this other stuff. And I need the focus to be on what's happening on the screen, the game, okay? And part of this is my own fault, because I am a distractible player, as Parcells would say. I'm very distractible, and so it's not. But Scotty, I think you will confirm we had a lot of religious people at that table, right? There were a lot of people that had either been in ministry for years or people going into ministry. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
It was quite.
Tonight,
it was quite the group.
I thought it was a good group, and That one preacher who's called Preacher. I mean, I don't think we ever got a real name, right? They just call
Nope,
him
I never got
Preacher.
his name. Just preacher.
He's a good preacher because you know what he'll do is he'll eat. I don't think he ate anything. I think he ate at home, but he just sat there and either he had like sweet iced tea the entire ball game. Certainly would never even think about an alcoholic beverage. And the man for 36 years was the pastor out at was it Lake Air Baptist? Like a
Parkview.
what's that?
He said Parkview.
Oh man, Parkview Baptist out there. How many Baptist churches do we have in Waco proper? Let's just not even think about all of Central Texas and Temple and Belton and all that. In Waco proper, if you had to guess, how many Baptist churches?
I'll Google it after I guess. I'm going to guess 115.
Most Baptist churches per capita anywhere in the country. That's what we used to say, and I think that probably is still the case. Although some will drop the Baptist name, there is a chance that Harris Creek used to be Baptist, and they may have dropped the name. That's now a non-denominational church. I feel like in the past, when I used to hear that name, they would say Baptist. And then there was that Meadow Creek or Meadowbrook or whatever. That's Baptist. There's a lot of Baptist churches. And by the way, shout out to that pastor at Harris Creek. He's got some health stuff going on. He's in a hospital all this week. And I happen to see all that on Facebook. John Elmore's a good buddy of mine on that staff. And this guy's known as JP. In fact, I finally learned what his actual name is by looking on Facebook. And good pastor at church has really done well out there. And he's having to got some really tough health issues that he's fighting right now. So our prayers go out to him. Okay, Scotty, let's see. We got off a little bit of a late start. Okay.
There are 136 Baptist churches in Waco. I wasn't terribly far off.
You were above that. Did you say 100?
I said 115. So I was about 20 off.
Yeah, you did good. You did well, man.
Thanks, Mosley.
I'm proud of you as always. What are you going with today on that pullover, by the way? Is that one of those new silhouetted Baylor type?
No, I got this at the spring. I can't even see which side of my shirt I'm holding. The spring sale. You know, at the spring game, they sell all the old merch. This is an official Team Worn Sugar Bowl pullover from 2021.
The one I never got was when Joey and them in like 2019, that Sugar Bowl. Joey was still on the staff. Yeah, they had the coaches had that gray sweatshirt with a blocked Baylor lettering, and for some reason I really loved that. And I kind of thought when Joey had to get rid of all his Baylor stuff that might go to me, or I might get a hold of one of those. And still to this day, I've not secured one of those. So if you're out there and you're in the Baylor coaching community, anyway, we're glad to have everybody with us today. It's the Overreaction Monday. It's a lot going on. So here's what we're going to do. Let me walk you through the rest of the day. 1:35, we'll do Campus Confidential. Scotty's got a lot of stuff, had a lot of games. I know Scotty wants to hear my take on, because while we were watching the Baylor game, and finally when Baylor started to pull away, the Aggie game got good. Like that's an offense failing its defense, by the way. That's an offense. That Auburn offense is horrible, which makes you feel even worse about what they did to Baylor. I mean, they loaded up, ran all over Baylor, and they can't get out of their own way right now. And they're 0-2 in the SEC, and they lost one in College Station. And of course, Scotty and everybody at that bar where we were watching it, or that beautiful restaurant, the Brazos Landing, was giving me a hard time because I was kind of, invested in watching that game. And of course, right now, because my daughter goes to A&M, people are thinking I'm a little too into the A&M thing. I was very locked into that Baylor game throughout the game, and that's where my focus is. Okay, we'll do Baylor. We'll do a lot of Baylor talk and look at that game and some things that I thought coming out of that. We'll do that at when we get in the 2 o'clock hour, starting at about 2:15. We'll get far into that. Right now, a little more Cowboys, though. they had a great game plan for Micah. They really did. I mean, Brian Baldinger and others are trying to make it out like Micah had some kind of great game. He didn't. He didn't. I mean, I isolated and watched him constantly. I thought he was very frustrated. I thought it was magnanimous. I thought it was good of him to go to the quarterback of Green. Now, maybe it was showmanship or something, but he did apologize on behalf of the defense for not doing more to help out Green Bay. I didn't think he was that great in that game. He had a couple of quarterback hits, which, sometimes the ball will be delivered and then he hits him a full second. I mean, it's like the quarterback hit stats sometimes are nothing, like just breathing on the quarterback. Oh, he got pressure. Oh, he got a quarterback pressure. He got one sack and it was a fake sack. It was in overtime. It was on 2nd and goal. And Dak's trying to run that ball in on a scramble. And Micah did track him down from the other side of the field. It was a good play, but that's not a sack. It's not a true sack. He didn't catch him back but somehow stats-wise, it goes down as a sack. The really only sack of the night that I remember was the Cowboys had a huge play. James Houston goes back there, number 53 for the Cowboys, and gets a strip sack. And the Cowboys go down there and take the lead at the half, 16-13. So, I mean, Scotty, the truth is, Scotty's a longtime Cowboys fan, and I used to be. Of course, you cover the team, it changes your relationship with the team. But on one hand, it's a miracle that the Cowboys had a chance to win the game, that the Cowboys were able to tie the game. Like, in some ways, I think Cowboys fans should be highly encouraged that they somehow ended up in a 40-40 tie against the big bad Green Bay Packers. So part of me thinks, how can you not take at least a little bit of pride in that? But also, the defense continues to just be a major, major problem. And I mean, it's let me just look into the camera, wherever this camera is, and let me put my real glasses on. Let me get serious about something for just a moment here at the 22:30 mark of our show today. Scotty, what Matt Eberflus is putting out there on a weekly basis, not only is it not sustainable, but it's the worst defense in the NFL right now. And we're past the poor communication. We're not communicating the back end of the defense. Like it's like early in the game, Green Bay ran a go route and both its receivers ran to the exact same spot. They ran vertical routes and they went to the same spot. And so they had to, almost like an outfielder, they had to, at the last minute, decide who was going to catch the ball. That's how bad it is. Jordan Love threw a deep ball and he had two receivers in the exact same spot. And they just had to figure it out which one of them was going to go up and make the catch. They were both there. The only chance the Cowboys had of breaking up that pass was for them to break up their own pass. And Rex Ryan said it in the pregame, ESPN pregame. I'm listening to that on the way to the stadium, on the way back from College Station, on a 6-hour round trip I made to College Station. I'm on the way back, and Rex Ryan basically is calling them. His new thing is to call them, instead of the doomsday defense, he calls them the dumbsday defense. And it's not that funny, but whatever. He's going with that. But his whole point, and he showed it, was that they don't even know how to cover a screen. They don't understand the logistics. They have no, from a schematic standpoint, literally when you screen the Cowboys defense, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to get anybody out there. And so it'll be 3rd and 20 like it was last night. And Scotty, they threw a middle screen just to get a few yards so they could punt. It went for 18 yards because they don't know how to even defend it. Like a middle screen or a typical screen toward the boundary. All these things the Cowboys are completely flabbergasted by these things. Now, even when they make a great play, like Trayvon Diggs had an interception along the sideline. Big play. Could have been a huge play in that game early on in the game. It's amazing they overcame this. 12 men on the field. Again, this guy came in with Rob Ryan to the Cowboys. He ended up becoming a pretty good defense coordinator in the league. I don't know how. I mean, it's bad. I mean, we know he lost a great pass rusher in Micah, but I mean, the coverage, Love and Prescott both put up huge days. Both teams have really good. Jacobs is an excellent running back for the Packers. I mean, he puts one little move around the goal line down there, and Trayvon Diggs just kind of basically falls down. And Diggs made a really good play in overtime, came up in run support, made a big hit. But this team is undisciplined. There's absolutely no discipline when it comes to what they're doing. I mean, Scotty, Maris Leofau, big moment in the game. They could have had the Packers in 3rd and long. I'm sure the Packers would have just thrown a screen and gotten it, but they could have had them in a tough spot. And Leofau on an incomplete pass, ball hits the ground, and Leofau comes up and just annihilates the running back, the backup running back for the Packers. Like there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's like early in the game, he made a great play. Matthew Golden, the old Texas wide receiver, it was a punt returner, and he makes a little spin move. And right after he gets a little spin done, Maris Leofau's waiting on him, and he crushes him. The team loved it. Team fed off of it. Team also fed off a PAT block and a 2-point return, and made it 13-2. And I thought, well, that's just kind of a funny little play. That won't make any difference. It kind of did. They kind of fed off that, and they got that game to 16-13. So, Scotty, I want to ask you this, and then I'll give you my answer. Was that game worse? Was that result worse for the Packers or worse for the Cowboys?
Oh, for the Packers. The Packers. You said it earlier. The Packers kind of a trendy favorite to maybe make a Super Bowl run this year, especially after acquiring Micah. I, on Zach Owens' show here on Rogue Media, picked Packers to make the Super Bowl as my official pick. I thought they had all the pieces. Jordan Love played poorly like that. And, for the Packers, I think you have to be disappointed that you scored 40 and had a tie. Like, I think this is way more of an indictment on the Packers and a result that's good for the Cowboys, because I'm still not convinced the Cowboys are going to win that many games this season. So I think this could be a momentum builder for Dallas, and it's time for some questions, I think, in Green Bay.
Dak had led his team with the help of the defense in some of those games, but he had led his team, Scotty, to 22 times to 40 or more points. Scotty, their record in those 22 games, 22-0.
Wow.
22-0. 22-0-1 now.
Yeah.
In those games. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
You put up 40, you throw for 319, you throw for 3 touchdowns, you run for another. I mean, you got it. I mean, again, he played brilliantly. Now, Scotty, that was some nonsense down there in the overtime. I mean, you got to score. Tolbert makes a great play. Dak makes a great throw. It was highly improbable they were going to complete that. Highly improbable. I saw some of the numbers on that. It was like 7% chance of completing that throw. Where Tolbert was at the time, and they did it. Tolbert keeps his feet in. Big play. They get down there. They run on first. Dak scrambles on second. Third down, huge. It's a gotta have it. You need a touchdown. You're going to lose that game probably if you don't get it. Dak's back there. He's got time. Ends up throwing it out of the end zone. Flournoy was back there. Nothing wrong with Flournoy. Flournoy played well in that game, but like, what's the play? What's the play? Did he go through his progression and he just decides, I think I'll just throw a fade and I'll just throw it where only my man can get it. And he threw it about 10 feet over his head. And you got Trot, the greatest kicker in the history of the game, out there to kick a 22-yard field goal. And I thought they had for sure lost that game. I thought that game was over. And then it took the Packers. The Packers had to try almost to tie that game or almost lose that game. I mean, they're boom, boom. They're down there. They call the timeout. They bang that timeout at 28 with 28 seconds. They're fine on time. They're down there around like the 15-yard line. They're in the red zone. They've moved it down there quickly. And then, like, they run a play. Cowboys make a nice play, defensive play, and then they just kind of goof around. Don't get up to the line of scrimmage and throw it in the end zone with one. I mean, like, we're so close to today being talking about like LaFleur and Love. I mean, think about how we killed Dak and Mike McCarthy for the way that one of those games ended against San Francisco, the way they managed the clock at the end of that playoff game. That was huge. But the Cowboys, they never beat Green Bay since Green Bay won the Super Bowl in AT&T Stadium. They've never beaten Green Bay in AT&T Stadium. They have tied them now. A 40-40 tie. All right, Scotty, we're a little loose today. We're fine. We can go as long as we want on campus because we got a lot to react to. We had some upsets over the weekend. We had some really good games. We had one of the fraudulent coaches in college football. He had an incredible opportunity for a top 5 win or top 10 win. Had an incredible opportunity, and he let it get away from him. We'll react to all of that in Campus Confidential next.